Ah, my head. My elbow! Oh, my funny bone! Oh, Jesus! Okay, let's continue. Hey guys, it's the Gothic Slenderman again, and welcome to Infinite Shades of Goth. What is Infinite Shades of Goth, you ask? Well, I began thinking to myself. Back in like 2014 and early 2015, I talked about different forms of the Gothic subculture and different things about the Gothic subculture, and then I realized, looking on the internet recently, there are God knows how many different versions of the Gothic subculture. I mean, Jesus! You got Victorian, baby beds, even something called a health goth. I didn't even know that was a thing till today! Jesus! Oh, Jesus! Oh, holy bananas! So I'm going to make this series for the sake of going over different forms of the Gothic subculture. This will be an often series that I do, considering I'm working on other things, and I need something that'll keep me going on this channel as I'm working on other projects like Gothic Blighted Climax, and I'll tell you about the other one later. But it's not something I will do every day. It's just something that will keep me going. Don't worry, I'll still do other things like the Grotesque Brains or Top 10s, Nightmare Disorders, and other things like that, and anything else that makes me look like a freaking psychopath. Thank you for letting me do this, by the way. You guys are awesome. Today we're looking at a form of the Gothic subculture which I always felt like was interesting and partially described me, not to say I am a part of that side of the Gothic subculture. This is called a romantic goth. Romantic goths typically go for the beautiful yet romantic and dark things of life. Like, I don't know, I have good examples, and this is just my own examples. I'm not saying these may be official, like graveyards surrounded by or brightened up by the moonlight, or dark roses, or other things like that. Skeletons making out and shit like that. Beautiful! Okay, maybe not that last part. I'm pretty sure that might be a fetish, though. That would be skeleton fetish. Please, someone look that up on the internet and tell me that's a thing. Romantic goths are definitely a lot more passionate about a lot of things, not just their significant other, and even if they don't have a significant other, they can still be a romantic goth. Romantic goths typically are more into classical and opera music, and don't really wear chains and spikes and whatnot, or anything else like that, but typically also wear a flowing and easy clothing, you know, stuff like this and whatnot. Similar to that of Victorian goths, but a bit more loose, as I would say. Something a bit easier to move around in. I mean, I'm not saying this at all, it's just like, ah! Oh, why did I do this? I'm more painful than yours! I'm saying their clothing is typically a lot more easy to move around in than just... Not to say, once again, this is hard to move around in, like I said before, but like in a comparison, you know? Like this, compared to romantic goth, is definitely a bit harder to deal with than that. But not to say it's like so hard to deal with that I constantly think about it. Do I consider myself a romantic goth? No, not really. Because typically, while I am a sucker for romance, I love the dark, beautiful things in life, and typically, that's why I love horror. Horror can go for basically anything. Humor, sci-fi, and, in this case, romance. And I'm a fucking sucker for romance. And I am pretty passionate about a few things, and I wouldn't mind wearing looser clothing, but it's not typically what I wear normally on a day-to-day basis. Shut up! But the reason I say I'm not really a romantic goth is because there are also a lot of other things that I can't really go into. One big example I'm going to go into is that romantic goths are deep thinkers. And don't get me wrong, in this channel I have talked about a lot of things like trivia for Grotesque Brain, history with Nightmare Disorder, but sometimes when I go into deep thinking, even if it's about like a basic subject, eventually it'll just be like, why can I do it? No! Okay. Stop it! Stop it! A romantic goth is definitely something I am intrigued with, mainly because for one, I love the darker and beautiful things of life, but at the same time, I'm a sucker at romance, but I don't know how to do romance that much. I'm a fool! I'm a fraud! The reason I say that is because I know how romance works. Like, I don't know, candlelit dinners and whatnot, but that doesn't go for everyone. Some people are interested in, like I said, the candlelit dinners. Some people are just like, oh no, I hate that. Why would you do that? And that's why I say I consider myself someone who's, like, I'm a sucker for romance, but at the same time I can't really get into it because everyone's into different things. And if you don't really get to know someone in advance by, like, a month, you're not going to know what's romantic to them. I guess that's why you ease into a relationship instead of just, that was my mistake in high school. Those days are over, though. I apologize. All I'm saying is, in my opinion, it can be a little complicated to know what someone likes and what they don't like. It seems like they could be into all the same things that you do, but, like, getting to know them for, like, 3 days, it's like, oh, I don't like this thing, but you like that thing. That's why I consider romance to sometimes be a little confusing, even though I am a sucker for it. I love romance. Secondly, the reason I can't really get into it is because I get envious, like, a lot. I know jealousy is an ugly thing, but sometimes I don't mind being single. I said it a few months back that I don't care about the fact that I'm single. I can still be happy with my life, but I still would love to be in a relationship right now. And I get very envious when I see that, when I go on Facebook and my friends are like, in a relationship with this person. And sometimes you see them, like, making out in the streets, and you're so tempted just to be like, hey! It's disgusting! There are fucking people that are single here! Gosh! God damn it! It ruined my life! As much as I am a sucker for romance, it's difficult sometimes. I'm sorry. But to be honest, I always found romantic goths to always be intriguing and fascinating. Because, despite popular belief, there is bright and beautiful things inside the darkness and horrors and whatnot. I am fascinated with romantic goths, and it is something I would love to get into. And maybe, like, me not understanding how other people see romance and my perspective of romance, and maybe me being envious isn't a good reason that I shouldn't get into it, or just simply that I don't really have a lot of loose clothing. Who knows? Maybe I could still be a romantic goth. But this series is meant to more explore with other possibilities, and who knows? Maybe throughout the series, I could become a different kind of goth. You bloody knows. It could happen. It indeed could happen. So for now, I'm going to leave it off here, and you guys can put your comments down below for what else I should talk about in the infinite shades of goth. You guys could put down things like a cyber goth, a tribal goth, a Victorian goth, or even like things that aren't really considered goth, but are kind of like cousins of the gothic subculture, like emo, scene, punk, etc. And who knows, maybe I'll do it in another video. Like I said, this series is going to be kind of often, but not so that it's every day, but it's definitely going to be more often than Grotesque Brain Nightmare Disorder in the top 10s. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, maybe favorite, and subscribe if you'd like to see some more. I make videos almost every day. And remember, we all stay fish in the ceiling at least once in our lives.